Hey there. Today I wanted to do a video about learning double O. It's a really cool module, which was actually kind of daunting the first time that I saw the manual page for it, but, slowly and surely I picked it up as I went along. So what you're seeing right now is me just setting up a double-decker bomb with all double O modules on it. And yeah, so what exactly is the double O module? Well, essentially, it's like a giant Sudoku maze. It's filled with a ton of two-digit numbers, and all the single-digit numbers are actually just like 0, and then 1, and 0, 2, and 0, 3, and it goes on like that. And the trick to double O, what you want to do is you want to get to the space 0, 0, and hit the submit button to solve the module. But that's a lot easier said than done, of course. So how do you get to 0? Well, first you need to figure out your buttons, and the buttons that you can press are left and right once, up and down once, left and right twice, and up and down twice. I've just come to call them that in my brain. And what that means is that all of these numbers actually rest on a 9x9 Sudoku-esque grid split up into smaller 3x3s. And in the very, very center of this grid is 0, 0. That's your objective. And the single left-right button will move you one space, either left or right, inside of whatever 3x3 you're currently in. The single up-down will do the same thing inside the same 3x3 by just going up and down by 1. And the double left-right will move you an entire 3x3. And the double up and down will move you an entire 3x3 up and down. And that little diamond button with the circle in it is the submit button. But it is not that easy, because all of these single digit numbers actually have their ones digit blurred out. So you can tell it's a one digit number, you just can't tell what it is. And to top it all off, all of your buttons will be randomly mixed up. So as you'll see in the video, I'll be pressing, like I just did there, the single up down, and I hit the wrong submit button. Luckily the module is kind of forgiving. It will only submit on single digit numbers. Like the strike will only be registered if it's wrong on a single digit number that isn't 0. So that was the strike, because I submitted on a 10, which is not a single digit number. And that's really kind of it. Now, going into this, I thought, hey, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to memorize the entire 9x9 grid, and then once I do that, I can easily just figure out where all of the numbers are, and I can figure out my button configurations by just trying them all, and once I do that, I can swiftly solve double O and move on with my life. And that was not smart, because it is very hard to memorize that. So what is my alternative? Well, I simply started just doing double O, where I knew what was going on, and I said to myself, well, I'll just do it, and eventually I should be able to get a feel for it. And what I mean by that is, by now, I've developed this sort of methodology, if you couldn't already tell from the video, of how to solve this module. So my whole thing is I just kind of randomly press buttons until I see a number that's kind of vaguely familiar to me. And then I just sort of pin down other numbers that come after that get me closer to 0. So for example, I'll start a module and I'll randomly just be hitting buttons, figuring out my submit and just sort of what they all do. And I'll stumble across the number 31. Now, just from experience of doing a ton of double O modules, I know that there is a button that will cycle between 31, 13, and the number 64. And once I know that, then I can just go to 64, and then I know that there's some button that cycles through the numbers 64, 22, and I believe 70. And once I know that, I can go to 22, and then I can cycle a button that'll go from 22 to 0, and then a glitch, and then I believe it's 58, and I know that that 0 with a glitch is 0, 0. And there's just all these little pathways that you figure out. So as you see on screen, I'm cycling through until I hit the number 32, which is also a little pathway that I know, which is 11, 32, and 23. And once you get to 32, you can cycle through all your buttons until you hit the number 68, and then you can cycle through all your buttons until you hit the number 14. And once you hit 14, you can just figure out which one hits the double 0 between that and 85, and there's your 0. And that's kind of it. It really boils down to just doing it. So as you see there, there's 14, 0, and 81, and then 14, 0, 85, and the one between 85 is right. But like I was saying, it all just kind of boils down to figuring out those pathways and just really getting it down, because the maze never changes. It's always the same, and you just gotta feel it out. Is a lot better than memorizing. So yeah, the rest of this video is just me solving the rest of these 00 modules. So hopefully you can tag along and maybe learn a little something yourself. And I will see you in the next video.